Hello and welcome to MMOFTW for February 22nd, 2014. I'm your host, Bill Murphy, and this is the week that was in MMO news. What will Reaper of Souls clans be all about? Is Neverwinter coming to the new generation of consoles? How much is too much for a level 90 WoW character? Find out all this and more, because this is MMOFTW. The Diablo 3 site was updated with a new blog post that lays out the details on the upcoming clans and communities features that will arrive with patch version 2.0.1. That's actually a part of the Diablo 3 Reaper of Souls expansion, but it's going to be free to everybody. You don't have to have the expansion for this kind of functionality. The clans will function much like guilds. They'll require an invitation to join, and they will be limited to 120 members. Meanwhile, communities are much larger and more casual. They can be centered on a class, a geographic location, maybe just a preferred lifestyle. Hey, why not an LBGT shaman guild? Sounds like fun, right? Any other way players choose to identify themselves, that's what these communities are for. They're fully featured with panels for leader management. They have all the bells and whistles that you would expect from a guild system, even though this isn't really truly an MMO, Diablo 3. So are they necessary? I think in terms of social interaction, these are a great thing for Diablo 3. It's going to make Battle.net seem much more appropriate for the game, but we'll have to see. And from the better late than never files, we go back to January, and 2p.com reported last month that Perfect World Entertainment CEO Zhao Hong confirmed that Neverwinter will be arriving on consoles at some point in the future. The strong hint is that it's going to be the PlayStation 4 and the Xbox One console, though the timing is unclear. My guess would be sometime this year, but you never really know. We haven't really heard anything out of Perfect World to identify whether or not this is something that's going to be happening soon. You may remember that Perfect World Entertainment launched a console-only division late in 2013, but we haven't heard hide nor hair from them since then. So my guess is that you will see Neverwinter pop up, and it might just be the best thing to happen for that game. And in the World of Warcraft news, the latest patch hit the live service with a bit of a hiccup, or rather a surprise for players. The upcoming cash shop items revealed a level 90 character boost for the whopping price of $60. It appears that this is a mistake on Blizzard's part, since pre-orders for Warlords of Draenor expansion have yet to go live, which will also include one free character boost to $90. But how much is too much for an additional character boost? Or maybe you don't want to buy Draenor, but you want a character boosted to 90. Are you going to pay $60 for it? The full price of a brand new game coming out on a console? I don't know. I don't plan on it. But then again, if you really don't have the 2 weeks it takes to level a character to 90 anymore in WoW, I suppose you really might want to. $60 though. Good lord. Anyway, moving along. Guild Wars 2 news. Heroes began logging into the game this week to find out what Escape from Lion's Arch is all about, and the possible implications of an attack on the venerable city of Lion's Arch. Lion's Arch has been in the Guild Wars universe across Guild Wars 1 and Guild Wars 2, and, well, it looks like things will never be the same in LA ever again. It really is Escape from LA. Where's Snake Plissken? Anyway, in the latest update, Scarlet Briar has set her sights on one of Tyria's most iconic locations. This is like the main city hub for all of the players in Guild Wars 2. There are racial capital cities, but everybody tends to hang out in Lion's Arch, search for groups for the fractals and all that stuff. Well, all that's gone. Right now, Vigil Keep, which is in a place, I think, north or south of Lion's Arch, is where everything is sort of temporarily stored that was once inside of Lion's Arch, but for the most part, it seems like Lion's Arch is going to be just a city of ruin and a dangerous place to go for the foreseeable future. Now, the current content inside the update is pretty much go in, zerg around, take out some events, and earn some achievements and things like that, like you usually do. But the fact that ArenaNet has lived up to the goal of completely changing the map with something like this, and then before that with the big old tower that was in the center of Kryta before, I don't know, I think the Living Story took a long while to get going, but they're definitely changing the world. Now all they need to do is actually open up new sections for us to explore that are a little bit better than South Sun Cove, and I'll be happy. Moving right along, Carbine Studios took the lid off of the new WildStar feature called Adventures. Adventures, according to the video, are 5-person simulations that take place in alternative versions of zones you have already played in. They even liken Adventures to a choose-your-own-adventure dungeon in the open world where literally anything can happen. You'll be picking certain things to do at each point. You know, there might be a selection of 3 different tasks you can do, but you can only do one of them, and that leads to another branching path of several more things, so that these are very replayable, sort of casual 45-minute dungeons, if you will, that aren't as hard as the game's main dungeons. You'll get your first one around level 15, I believe, and then from that point on, there's 5 more, I think, or 6 more. I don't know. You'll have to play the game to find out, folks. There are randomized encounters, locations that players have already gone through. Anything can happen. They can be repeated for gear, experience, and all that stuff as long as you have a group. They are not something to be tackled solo. They're pretty cool. There's a great preview on the website for them from this past week by our own Gareth Harmer, so be sure to take a look. And Rise of the Fallen, Pantheon, that's an apt name, right? With the failure of the Pantheon Rise of the Fallen Kickstarter campaign being imminent, and without raising nearly 50% of the funding, the team laid out details for the post-crowdsourcing effort earlier this week. Most notably, Brad McQuaid and crew at Visionary Realms plan to continue crowdfunding via the game's own website, whether or not the KS is successful. Post also lays out the first details of a 3-tiered subscription plan. You can sort of subscribe to help make this game a reality. It's a weird system, but hey, it worked for Star Citizen, and we know that there are quite a few people out there who want an old-school EverQuest-style MMORPG again, even if it's a very niche sort of audience that they're aiming for, so maybe we'll still see Pantheon yet. Stay tuned next week when we hopefully will have an interview with Brad McQuaid to talk about life after Kickstarter for Pantheon. And then last but not least, of course, Path of Exile, Sacrifice of Val's mini expansion is coming out March 5th. The site has been updated with a news post about the forthcoming mini expansion. The content update is expected to hit live service, as we said, March 5th, and will feature an expansion of the game world as well as set the pace for similar updates to arrive every 4 months. Most significantly, Sacrifice of Vale will expand the game's lore. Devs plan to tease out more details over the coming weeks, and we might just have a preview for you later next week, so keep your eyes peeled. That does it for this week. Don't forget to follow us on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and Twitch at MMORPG.com without the dot. You can also find me on Twitter at TheBillMurphy. Thanks for listening to me ramble, as always. And thanks for watching. We'll see you next week. Don't forget, don't let a bad pug get you down. I couldn't let it go without saying that. Sorry. Have a good weekend, guys. Bye-bye.